Welcome to Wiggins Maths. In this video we'll be focusing on integrating standard functions as part of the Year 13 content, so let's get cracking. Firstly, do not neglect the formula booklet. There will often be times where you may be unsure how to integrate a function. It's always worth a quick glance to check if it's in there. Also worth noting, you can use the differentiation section of the formula booklet to help with your integration and vice versa. Okay, so on to what we actually need to know. X to the n, we've already covered that in year 12. So we add 1 to the power and divide by that new power. E to the x will become e to the x when you integrate it, just like differentiation. We've already learnt that when you differentiate ln x, it becomes 1 over x. So logically, integrating 1 over x will become ln x. Obviously with a couple of limitations, which we can talk about later. In essence, we're going to be using our knowledge of differentiation to support us throughout this entire unit of integration. So we're going to have a look at a couple of simple examples just to make sure that we are fully happy with that. Okay, so example 1, I'm just going to integrate this one hopefully nice and simply. So sine x will become negative cosine x. E to the x becomes e to the x. Now, because this is an indefinite integral, I need to make sure that I add my constant of integration. I mean, none of us will forget to do that, right? Okay, second example. Again, 5 cos x becomes sine x. And 1 over x becomes the natural log of x, and we need to add our constant of integration once more. Example 3 looks a little bit more complicated, but bear with it, it's not that bad, honest. 7e to the x, well, e to the x becomes e to the x. Now sec squared, now you may know this from your knowledge of differentiation, however, it is in the formula book. So sec squared x, when integrated, becomes tan x. And again, cosec x cot x, it's in the formula book. Cosec cot x, when integrating, becomes negative cosec. So therefore, it's going to be add cosec x. And then of course plus c because it's indefinite. And fourth example, final example for this video, is where I encourage you to not forget the things we already know. Okay, this looks a bit of a pain, but I already know how to expand brackets. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to tidy up this function. So cosec squared x, add e to the x, sine squared x, cosec squared x. And of course we're still integrating that with respect to x. I've not integrated it yet. Now you may look at that and go, well, that's not made it any simpler for me. However, using our knowledge of reciprocal functions, we should be able to see that sine squared and cosec squared cancel each other out. Lovely stuff. Right, okay. So now it leaves us with cosec squared x, add e to the x with respect to x. Cosec squared, again, in the formula book, cosec squared x integrated becomes negative cot x, and e to the x becomes e to the x. And finally, remember our constant of integration. Okay, so there you have it. Just a reminder, watching this video does not instantly mean you'll be able to do it. Practice is what's going to make you successful, and the more you practice, the better you will become. If you found this video useful, please subscribe, tell your peers, and I will be aiming to upload some new videos each week to ensure that we are as successful as possible. And finally, remember, amateurs call it genius, masters call it practice.